you, Ramesh, for giving us your valuable time to our platform Reality at XT. So before I begin with the question on overall JLL India, business going ahead, I want to talk about the initiative you started with the PropTech Accelerator program, which had, like, before you started this program, what was the expectation and objective behind JLL Ideas?
Thanks, Kritika. Real estate sector has always been quite conservative when it came to adoption of technology. And we have always been in the forefront of how we could use technology in real estate. Our aspiration is to become the biggest and the largest player in terms of real estate technology, not just in India but across the world. Keeping this in mind is why we started JLL Ideas, India's largest PropTech accelerator program. We partnered with Invest India, Startup India and Agni to come out with this, and the overall response was very, very good. We got nearly 2,000 registrations, 740 idea submissions. From that, we did a lot of hackathons, interviews, pitches, and we reached the top 50, then we came to the top 15, and then we finally selected the top 3 from those 740 applications. What are we doing with these companies? We want to kind of mentor them, we want to incubate them, give them business opportunities to go to the next level. We are constantly looking at how we can add value to our customers in terms of how real estate advice is given, how real estate transactions are managed, and how project and property management can be done, what we call ATM, advise, transact and manage. So objective is how do we take these ideas and use it to solve problems and challenges of our customers.
So coming to the second question, I wanted to understand, like, JLL Sparks Fund is a global setup for the PropTech companies international. So in the future, would we be seeing any kind of synergies happening between JLL Sparks Fund and JLL Idea?
Definitely, Kritika. So JLL Spark Global Fund is a $100 million PropTech global fund focused on investing in PropTech startups across the world. We've already made 3 investments in India in companies like Equilibrium, Foyer, and Qdesk. As you know, India's startup ecosystem is probably one of the most active in the world, with nearly 50,000 startups in the country and close to 350 accelerators and incubators. So we want to be an active player in this, and that's the reason we selected these 3 companies to incubate. We got Facilio and Reomnify. So we would be going ahead, incubating them, giving them an opportunity to work with our clients and take it forward from there.
So in continuation to that, I wanted to understand, is there any Indian startup under JLL Ideas which you feel could scale up and solve the problem of international market?
Almost all these names that I mentioned, whether it's Foyer or Qdesk or Equilibrium, have the ability to kind of make sure they can kind of go to the next level, and it's our job to help them reach that level, given our presence not just in the region but also globally.
Okay. And with regards to JLL Sparks Fund, do you feel any company under that JLL Sparks can make an entry in the Indian real estate market?
We are actively looking at those opportunities. It's a matter of time before some of them start a presence in India.
Over the last few years, we have seen JLL investing in the PropTech space, recently Qdesk. So our readers would really like to know, what is the 5 criteria that JLL Idea looks into before investing in any kind of startup?
Firstly, what we call the SIT strategy, the SIT strategy. How scalable is the idea? How innovative is the idea? And how transformative is the idea? This is what we look when we look at a PropTech startup. Obviously, we look at the founders, their credentials, their experience, what are the abilities they have to scale it to the next level. We also look at corporate governance, and most importantly, we look at what are the challenges our clients are facing, and does this PropTech idea help in solving that client challenge.
So JLL has recently launched a platform, JLL Overview. Could you tell us what the model is about?
I spoke about how the ATM strategy of us, how do we use PropTech to advise, to transact and to manage. On the manage front, we are very large in property management in the country. We are the largest player in that space, managing nearly 450 million square feet. So what we were looking at is there a tool which can enhance the experience of not just the developers but also the owners and occupiers. So Overview is an answer to that, and we hope to rapidly scale this up in the coming few months and years.
So when you explain in that way, does it says that JLL Overview would be on the lines of gated community service, which is already out there?
We hope to give at least part of that as an experience to our customers. Today, if you look at it, there's so many high-end residential projects coming up, and there is a struggle in the market in terms of developers, how they can differentiate their product from others with the amount of competition coming. We believe this tool, given the amount of customer experience management which this can bring in, would definitely be a differentiator for developers even when they are selling their products into the market.
So last year we read that JLL has entered into residential brokerage business. So how was this decision made? What was the need gap that JLL noticed in the market that JLL made an entrance in the residential business segment?
So we've been in the residential business for the last 22 years. We've been in the country. On the brokerage side, we were out of it for the last 2 years, and a lot of clients came back asking why isn't JLL getting back into the residential brokerage business, because of which we decided to step in. But even in that 2 years, when we're not doing the brokerage business, if you look at the entire property cycle, whether it's doing residential real estate research, residential real estate consulting, residential real estate valuations, residential real estate property management, residential real estate project management, on all these fronts across the residential real estate financing, debt raising for residential developers, equity raising for residential developers through our capital markets team. So we were doing multiple aspects except the residential brokerage side, which we stayed away for 2 years. And we are back at it, and we are investing a lot this year, especially to make sure we get the tech piece also right, along with our residential brokerage piece.
So good, you brought the word technology. I wanted to ask, over the few years, how technology has helped JLL to shape their business prospect and improvise the efficiencies.
So we've been focusing on both the front end and the back end. If you look at front end, we recently invested in QDesk. We are already starting JLL homes.co.in from a residential point of view. From a global technology point of view, we have our Technology Development Center in Bangalore, what we call TDIM, Technology Development and Information Management. Their Center of Excellence based in Bangalore, where we have 300 top-class high-end engineers from institutions like IIT designing products for our customers across the world. On the back-end side, we use a lot of technology products, whether it's MarketLink, whether it's Mapit, Clarison, Bravo, VR360, Utilization IQ, so multiple products. So we've broken, let's say a typical transaction has 12 steps. We've broken it into the various steps and how technology can fit in each of these 12 steps. Those are some of the things which we're focusing on the technology front.
What are the 3 PropTech startups which you believe can be the unicorns of tomorrow?
That's a tough one. Although we ended up meeting nearly 50 of the 740 submissions, from which we selected 15 and then came to the top 3, which is WeGot, Facilio and Reomnify. We have also invested in 3 other startups in India, which is QDesk, Foyer and Equilibrium. It's not long before I truly believe that one of these companies can actually become a unicorn. But the journey is it's going to be, there would be lots of ups and downs, and depends on the capability of these founders to take the company to the next level. The Indian PropTech scene is probably the most active in Asia. We would say that the number of deals that have happened in India in the last 5-6 years in the PropTech space is probably the largest in Asia Pacific.
So we have been noticing in few years, developers are giving their selling and marketing mandate business to professional setups. So would JLL be entering into this segment for especially for the residential, mandate business?
We have already entered that segment a few months back in terms of taking exclusive mandates. We picked up nearly 15 projects from a mandated sales point of view. If you look today at the Indian residential sector, over the last 6-7 years, sales have dropped, launches have dropped, unsold inventory has gone up. And the main reason for that is trust deficit. And today, when you look at trust deficit, I think what buyers are looking at is an advisor who's trustworthy, someone who's transparent. And I think JLL can play a critical role in bridging that gap of transparency and being a trusted guide to the customers.
Can you share 5 sets of numbers in terms of statistics that would define JLL India last year growth?
Globally, we've again be ranked amongst one of the most ethical companies in the world for 12 years in a row. India as a market is amongst our top 8 markets. JLL operates in 80 markets globally. In India, we employ 12,000 employees, full-time employees, and around 80,000 employees through our partners, vendor partners. We've been growing in the last decade at a profit CAGR of nearly 14%. Just last year, we do thousands of transactions across asset classes. Just in the office asset class, last year we did over 700 transactions, totaling close to 19.2 million square feet just in 2019.
Thank you, Ramesh, for giving us your time again for this great insight which you shared, especially with regards to PropTech Accelerator program. And I hope 2020 will be a most lucrative year for you guys.
Thank you, Kritika, for interviewing me, and all the best for all your future endeavors.